Well, seems like my little tinfoil hat theory, which I mentioned in my previous episode, is actually not so far-fetched. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, I can show you some early details in the garage from the update 1.6's test server about the upcoming Tier 8 premium British light tank Senlac, FV1066 Senlac. And this light tank shows what all those light tanks were supposed to be actually. And this leads me thinking they did it on purpose, they knew exactly how we are going to react, and most likely they have the second versions of all of those British light tanks already ready. Because this Senlac over here is way better than the Tier 8. Well, those two are actually not even comparable. This one and the Tech 3 Tier 8 is not even comparable. Exactly the same can be said about Tier 9 GSOR. Senlac compared to the GSOR, well, they do not compare. Senlac is, if not 2 times better, then 5 times better at least. And some may even say that Senlac is better than the Tier 10 Manticore, aka Mediocre. Yeah, it should be renamed to the Mediocre. So all this leads me thinking they knew exactly what they are doing, and now after they buff it, they can say, see, we listen you, people. But once again, keep in mind, this is from the test server, so you can get an idea at least what they are thinking about doing to the premium tank. I do not expect that they are going to nerf it down to the level of the current Tech 3 ones. I think they are going to buff all the Tech 3 ones to this tank's level at least. So FV1066 Senlac, this is how it looks like in the garage at least. Not so different to the LH MTV Tier 8 one. It is maybe a bit bigger. It doesn't have any armor like on all of those light tanks. And what they are saying over here is FV1066 Senlac is a variant of a light tank developed in the 1960s. Based on the requirements of the General Staff, the vehicle was supposed to have superior maneuverability and mobility compared to the American M24 Chaff tank. So they wanted to make this tank better than the American M24. The project featured the oscillating turret, existed only in blueprints. Yep. And you can see that this is our first British light tank at the moment with over 2000 DPM with only 100% crew activated. No other bonuses applied. So as this is a premium tank, it makes you more credits, more experience, stuff like that. It features QF 20-pounder gun. Engine power is actually really good, 710 horsepower engine, and as you can see, this tank has 3 crew members, which is already kind of messy because on Manticore we have 2 crew members. So we are missing gunner on Manticore. Of course, if you go down to the British light tank Tech 3 line and you would like to get Manticore, and your Manticore's crew usually, or Tier 10 tank vehicle's crew is the best, you use the best crew members over there. So if you use Manticore's crew members on Senlac, you do not have any gunner's skills or any gunner skills carry over, because over there commander is not working as gunner as it does on Manticore. So I do not get why they are doing that. But Senlac, let's move on. 180 damage per shot, 189, rate of fire 11.14 rounds per minute, which is already twice as fast as on what was that, LH MTV. Yes, actually, let's compare this tank to the Tier 8, Tier 9 and Tier 10 right away, and you see how ridiculous this is. They had to do it on purpose. I simply refuse to believe that they were even thinking about releasing those Tech 3 tanks as badly as over here. So yes, it has the lowest penetration, it has the lowest alpha damage, but it can fire twice as fast. DPM is 600 better than the Tech 3 one. Penetration, alpha damage, does it really matter that much? And oh yes, I haven't talked about the best feature of this gun. HE with 90mm of penetration, which is just godlike ammunition type to take out weaker armor targets like TLH MTV. With this ammunition you can take out TLH MTV in literally under 30 seconds. It is super awesome versus Rheinmetall, all those weakly armor targets. 90mm is really good for one HE round. So let's move on. 5.38 second reload time. Of course, counterverse, aka turret rotation speed, is also the fastest. It also has minus 10 degrees of gun depression, 14 degrees of gun elevation. 8 degrees of gun elevation on Manticore is actually super limiting, especially if you like to auto-aim. If you like to auto-aim, circle around enemy tanks, even at super close range, you have to follow the terrain. Sometimes terrain is going to mess up your shots. So just look out for that. Aiming time is by far the best, 1.73 second aiming time. Accuracy, it really doesn't matter. We can say accuracy is exactly the same. And DPM, as I said, 600 better than on tier 8, 458 better than on tier 9, and yes, it has even better DPM than tier 10 Manticore, 263 better DPM, but penetration is way weaker. But I would take this gun, this tank all day, every day, in any situation. Penetration is just so minor weakness compared to all the rest of the things. So hit points 1050, exactly the same, but it doesn't have as much armoring, which simply doesn't matter. Once again, they all compare to each other pretty much. They are all the same because yes, Manticore has 50, 80 on turret, 50 in the front of the hull, but every single tank which is able to face Manticore is still able to penetrate it, even the Senlac with HE rounds into the side, hull, some shots as well. So the armoring, extra armoring over here really doesn't matter. So it is the heaviest tank, yes, but look at his 710 horsepower engine. It has a better power to weight ratio compared to the tier 8. 35.15 is really good, 65.23 top speed numbers, and hull traverse speed 46.94, which is the same to the Manticore. And the funniest thing, ladies and gentlemen, view range 400 meters. This is what LH MTV should be, with this camo as well. Yes, camo is not as good because it seems to be a lot bigger than the LH MTV, but view range 400 meters. This is how you make passive scouts. This was yet another thing none of us understood. You design one passive scout with such a poor freaking view range. Yes, it is poor, if this has to be one of the key features on a tank. So this is just to compare them to the current versions, but as I said many times already, I am expecting some crazy buffs in the next iteration, test server iteration. So 400 meters, awesome mobility, awesome gun handling, awesome. So Senlac is prime example how they should buff LH MTV, and they should move on up from tier into GSOR and into Manticore, and they should buff all those vehicles accordingly, because Senlac really doesn't scream OP anywhere. Really, 400 meters view range, yes, this is really good for a tier 8 light tank, but it is a light tank after all. All the rest of the things, yeah, nothing screams to be like crazy overpowered. Use this as an example and buff it. But once again, I am sure they already know it. Like, all I am saying over here is I am saying it to myself because they cannot be so... I do not even know how to describe this situation. They have to know it. They know it. I think they know it, exactly what they are doing. But why they are trying to pull something like this off, maybe my tinfoil hat theory actually works or is true. Anyway, this is how FV1066 Senlac is looking like on the public test server at the moment. As I said at the start of the episode, most likely they are not going to nerf it down to the level of the other British light tanks. They have to buff all the rest of the tanks to make them at least playable. Yeah, at least playable. But now let's fully equip it with the standard equipment units on my light tanks. I like to use those things easily. Yes, easily. My favorite loadout. So brothers in arms, recon, situational awareness, concealment as well. This is the ammunition, sorry, not the ammunition, this is the equipment loadout. And if you play this tank with food, you get 2376 DPM. Aiming time is super awesome. And by the way, I was looking at some soft stats as well on tanks.gg, and on the move gun handling, for example, was a lot better as well. So all the hidden stats are also a lot better. 4.55 second reload speed is amazing, 0.34 accuracy, that's okay. Concealment 31.1 is also good, and close to 500 meters view range without using binoculars. But if you want to go hardcore, if you want to use binoculars, like sit in the bush and use some spotting, ooh, you can T-value a lot of the camo value. 563, not bad. Not bad indeed. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our upcoming Tier 8 British Premium Light Tank FV1066 Senlac. Let me know what you think about it, and I catch you in my next episode with something else.